basically agreed to 6-pool me. I just said 6-pool me somebody so I can make a tutorial, and he said he would. He plays Protoss, so his 6-pool is not refined. Really, you should have just built a pool, and you shouldn't build that first drone for a normal 6-pool, but it really does not change things that much. What we're going to find, the key aspect here being, is that it's about the scouting, and it's about the what you do to respawn. So now we're just going to watch my camera for a little bit. We can bring up the production tab. As you see, a normal 6-pool, getting those drones after your pool, you get 2 more drones. And here we go. I scout and I see that pool. I see it's really early. I know it's a 6-pool. What do? I bring a probe off the mineral line, and bam, down goes a forge as soon as it gets there, right away. And notice the placement. We're just gonna pause this, and we're gonna look at that placement. If we look at this, you can actually see there's only that one little tiny gap there. That's just a really small gap. And what we're going to do is, a lot of players, like I've tried this in the past, it does not work. And I've heard other players saying they tried it, it does not work. Is they put a zealot here, put it on hold position, think, okay, I'll hold. No, 6-pool is actually quite strong. You really need a lot more than just 1 or 2 zealots to hold it off. I've tried that zealot trick, it does not work, even when I just get double gateways and don't get my cyber. So there you go, see, put my cyber down here. What I want to note about the cyber, I've chosen the cybernetics core because, well, one, I want a big building here. I could have put a pylon there to finish walling off, but also the cybernetics core still allows me to tech up a little bit faster. And the other thing that you'll notice me doing is I'll start chrono boosting out these workers, and I'm going to be building workers, and I'm not building any gas, because all we want is minerals to be able to afford those cannons. We can't afford to put anything into a simulator or gas. And I'm going to be chrono boosting this because there's nothing else I can chrono boost for quite a while. The zealot's not going to do anything to help defend. Notice putting a second cannon. One thing I do want to note is I probably should have saved up, like cut a worker and saved up for the second cannon to get it out just a little bit earlier, but oh well. And notice I put this pylon here. Why here? Well, he's going to break through this forge, and he would have had a little space right here he could have gone through. So basically I'm blocking that off. And yeah, so there we go. That's the only thing I would do differently, is I would get the second cannon out just a little bit quicker. You can cut one worker to get out quicker. But as I was saying, chrono boosting the Nexus. Okay, now I've successfully held off his 6-pool. What am I going to do? Well, I throw down another gateway and start macroing up. I'm going to continue building workers. I'm going to be throwing down an assimilator. And notice I'm the dark blue player, so my money's staying low. I'm macroing up though, but I'm just gonna, that's the biggest focus. I threw down that second gateway, and then I'm gonna throw down the assimilator right away and continue producing probes. Continue producing probes. There we go, continue producing probes. And of course, once I can afford it, I'm going to throw down the third gateway. Notice, I'm not even worried about building units that much right now. And I'm building some zealots out of here, but really, I'm not super frantic about building units. Right now, the biggest thing is to get back ahead in the to stay ahead in the economy. I'm already ahead in economy if we look at the income tab by a lot because of that 6-pool, and I'm going to stay ahead. That's one key thing you want to notice throughout the game, is that I'm going to stay ahead. So we're just going to speed this up 4 times. Nothing too fancy is going to happen. Having to build an extra pylon because I destroyed that one. Starting to get my warp gate technology. And now you're going to notice me push out on the map and see what he's doing. Basically, I'm going to call this scouting. It doesn't necessarily have to be scouting, but basically I want to expand. That's the key thing, is he's done that 6-gate, and I want to be able to expand to really keep that economic advantage. So I send out my units and I figure out what's going on. Saw some roaches, had to run away, but I saw he was expanding as well. So I was pretty comfortable in expanding, plus I can always cancel that at the last second if need be. Getting that 4th warp gate to make sure I can produce slots. Starting to build this wall off. Protoss players love to do this against Zerg. Just put a little bit of wall right here, making it harder for them to run into your ramp, as well as run into the back here, cutting off options. Scouting pylon, pretty usual. And now I've got a pretty decent army and I'm going to start pushing out. One thing I'd like to just sort of note about this is, well, I was having to get a lot of zealots because I was quite gas broke, because I had to get my gas so much later in the game. So you'll notice that, but one thing you'll notice is I definitely made enough gas to get out some sentries. And this is the whole reason why I feel comfortable pushing, is because I know with these sentries, if I push out, let's just put this on faster then and keep playing. If I push out with these sentries, I know that I've got an escape route. I can do some force fields and I can run away. So I'm not going to really lose too much. And of course, making sure my army regroups here before going in. And one thing you'll notice is definitely still have that economic advantage by a lot. Well, not as much as before, but I definitely have it. And you'll notice here, just doing some fighting, doing some miss micro, letting these zealots run off on their own. But here we go, doing a bunch of economic damage in the mineral line. Thankfully, he told his workers to fight back, and that's going to do a lot of economic damage. Really though, if a player just ran away their drones, you do a bit of damage, but the thing is you'll probably do more damage to the army then. As you can see from that engagement, I actually lost quite a bit. Now I'm running away, but I just want to say, I lost quite a bit, but I did a ton of economic damage, so in reality I did way more damage than he did to me. And you'll notice that once I felt that it was no longer really winnable, I just took those few units and walked away with them. I had already done enough damage, and here we go, a little bit of miss micro because I wasn't paying attention to my main army, and oh my god, that scares me a little bit. I didn't expect them to re-macro up that fast. Of course, going back to those cannons for some defense, and here we go, just getting out what I can. I could only get out zealots at the time because I'm so gas capped. Okay, apparently I'm not. Never mind. I don't know why I got out those zealots considering there's so many roaches. I think I saw some zerglings, and that's why I got the zealots to deal with that. Okay, so as you can see, building a couple cannons, just walling off, and really at this point, I'm completely in command of the game. If we look at the units lost tab, that's not a big deal, because if we look at the income tab, look at this. Way ahead in income. Way ahead. If we look at the amount of production facilities I have 6 gateways. I have a forge ticking away with upgrades. Going to be getting blink soon. And what does he have? Well, he has a roach warren, evolution chamber, and a lair. Of course, he's got his natural expansion, but not much mining there. So really, this game is now mine. The only way I'm going to lose this game is if I throw it away to him. And the few ways that you throw it away to him, well, I'm not going to get into that because this tutorial was just about stopping the cheese. So there you guys go. That is how you defeat a 6 pool. Let's just go back to the very start here. Let's quickly review the key components of stopping the 6 pool. And then of course, just as we're waiting for this to go forward a little bit, I just do want to say that when you're coming out of it, the key thing was that macro. You really want to keep that economic advantage. As you can see, the first important stage, you scout it. You see it, you scout it. What's your reaction? Throw down a forge right at your wall off. You need to have a complete building wall off. This is the only way to defeat it. And so, there we go. And as you can see, chrono boosting out those workers. Now I'm going to stop worker production just a little bit so that I can afford that cybernetics core. And probably I would have suggested that you stop it just a little bit more so you can afford 2 cannons at the same time, because his 6 pool was just a little bit delayed. As you can see, his zerglings, which are just getting here, would have actually been at my ramp right now, just because he chose to build that extra drone first. So definitely cut a worker extra compared to me to be able to throw down these 2 cannons at the exact same time. And as I said before, you want to be throwing down 1 cannon on each side, because they're going to try and break down one of these buildings, but not specifically, you don't know specifically both. I noticed that he's completely trying to break down this one more so than the others, so I make this wall off again. I make another line of wall off, so once he breaks through here, he still has to break through buildings. That is the key thing, is this wall off, completely tight, re-wall off as he starts to break through a building, and of course getting those cannons down. Just get this one down before the forge goes down. Oh my god, that was close. I don't end up needing this cannon, but that was really close. And as you can see, he's still producing all those zerglings, trying to stream them out like a normal 6 pool would. But these cannons just do so much damage. Look at that, 20 damage. Look at that, 35 health. 2 shots and it's dead. 2 shots. I have 2 cannons out. They both shoot the same zergling. Boom, boom, boom. 1 zergling dead every shot. So there you go. That is the key component to beating a 6 pool, this is the only way that I know of that you can do it, and this is probably the best way, is to just that wall off, and remember, continue to build your wall off back for when he destroys that first front building.